Good evening. It's Freddy Vazquez, Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, the pride of Merante. Good evening. Good evening, folks. I think it's all messing up. Good evening, folks. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, I wanted to talk about Anthony Merante and the article in the Yonkers Times. I didn't see this until today, actually. And I want to talk about it because yesterday was the Pride Festival. I don't know if any of you guys attended. And I've actually been seeing some stuff online about, some people were actually just maybe being a little critical or maybe a lot critical about the, some of the, I guess some of the, how you would call it, some individuals, I guess just individuals, but I wanted to say like floats and stuff like that, maybe other things that they saw in, various parades throughout the United States. There was one in DC, and I have the video. I just didn't post it up, but I thought it was a woman, but it's actually a man, and they actually have breasts, and they were, walking down with showing their breasts. I was like, oh wow, a woman just her breast all out. But then I found out it was a man, and then the guy goes up to a cop and starts like, and the cop is like trying to get away, and he's like twerking and starts twerking on the cop, and the cop was just trying to get away, and I just was like, so I've mentioned this before in podcasts, and I said with the Pride parades, what I didn't understand, and maybe some folks could help me, understand it, because I'm just looking for some clarity. Why is it that there's nudity and a lot of it's highly sexualized, right? The Pride parades, the festivals are highly sexualized. So I've said that before, right? And Merante apparently made a post in reference to children attending the Pride Festival that happened this weekend. So I wanted to talk about that and the article that he did that was in the Yonkers Times in regards to his comments. Anyway, so Anthony Merante recently appeared in the Yonkers Tribune, that's just Yonkers Times, I thought it was Tribune, to discuss children's activities at this past Sunday's Pride event. In the article, Councilman Merante of District 6 explained his feelings towards children being at the Yonkers Pride celebration, the Pride Festival. According to the article, the councilman sparked a debate online when he posted a post, and it said, "Leave the kids out of this event." And I want to read it. Leave the kids out of this event. He goes on to say, "I strongly feel that children do not belong in this environment. If a parent wants to teach their children about the LGBTQ community, that is certainly fine. But children's activities at an event with drag queens is not. Drag was created as a bawdy art form with both innuendo and explicit performances for adults. Regardless of there being music, face paintings, and bouncy houses adjacent to this event, kids should not be included at the event with drag queens. This should have been considered an adult event. I'm not anti-LGBTQ, right? But again, this isn't the place for children, especially when the city of Yonkers funds are being used to sponsor the event. What do you think? Am I being too old-fashioned in my views? Oh, I don't know. Am I old-fashioned? Because I want to lean towards agreeing with the councilman there. What I first want to stress is how he said that he is not anti-LGBTQ, right? He said that, and he had to make that statement, right? I say that because the LGBTQ community is one of the two groups in which many are hesitant to criticize, right? The other are the Jewish people or Israel, for fear of being called anti-Semitic, even if the criticism is over the U.S. Sending billions of U.S. tax dollars to aid Israel, right? The same goes for the LGBTQ community. You must tread lightly. You must tread lightly. However, right, this is my opinion, groups like whites, blacks, and Hispanics are always up for discussion, or maybe that's just, again, my perception of things, right? Whites we could talk about, blacks. We could talk about, fatherless houses and Hispanics and, crossing the border and stuff like that and being illegal and not having papers. But certain groups, it just, you'll get criticized. Merante obviously felt the same way, because he had to first, he had to say that I'm not anti-LGBTQ. And I didn't think he was being anti-LGBTQ by saying, children maybe shouldn't be, at events where maybe there's adult content, right? So, Merante felt that some of what was going on at the event at the Yonkers Pride Festivals was very much rated R, if not rated X, because of the sexual innuendo and explicit performances. The councilman was speaking specifically about the drag queens performance who were performing at this past Sunday's family-friendly event, right? He goes on to say it should have been considered an adult event by event organizers and thus not included the bouncy house and face painting, right? He also had a problem that city funds were used or taxpayer money because it says, therefore, it makes it automatically a family event, right? So things like that by the organizers maybe should have considered because the city sponsoring it. So obviously they're going to welcome children. And is that adult content? As a Latino Democrat who had every disadvantage possible, I agree with the Italian Republican, who I'm sure had far less obstacles in life, although I'm sure he worked hard. I'm sure I'm not taking that away. The point is we can't be any different, right? He and I cannot be further from, any more different as individuals, right? But I still agree with the councilman to some extent, and although we're different, we're both handsome. Merante, you're a handsome guy, right? I will agree, however, the chair of the mayor's Mike Spano's LGBTQ advisory board responded. He didn't agree with it. He responded in an interview on the Yonkers Voice. He said, and his name is Anthony Nicodemo, he said, I think it's unfortunate for an elected official in a diverse city like Yonkers to have bigoted views. I think portions of the Republican Party has these views. It's pure ignorance. Actually, Mr. Nicodemo, I have to disagree with that, right? And just in my experiences, I believe a lot of Democrats feel that way as well. They are just less likely to say it. Right? Democrats, after all, are the party of inclusion. However, how much of that is really, how they feel and how much is it about votes? How much is it about politics? I mean, even you, Nicodemo, you politicized it, right? You took the opportunity to attack or, take a stab at or a jab at Republicans, right? You wanted to make them look like they are the party that's anti-LGBTQ, right? And that hurts during election time. So, and again, I'm a Democrat. I'm sorry, but Democrats at this point are ready to try anything else. I don't think that's gonna really work, Nicodemo, with the gas prices and what everything was Biden doing. They don't care. Some of them are even ready to vote for Trump back. I've seen on Facebook, right? Everyone is politicizing this now, and but none more than the Democrats, in my opinion. And as a Democrat, someone who's chair of an organization, Yonkers Democrats United, I like to be fair and unbiased. And I think that that's always should be how we view things, right? We should always be able to express how we truly feel, right? We shouldn't just simply align with the Republican views because we're Republican and Democrats because we're Democrats. Let's call it how it is. And that's how you feel. Doesn't make me less of a Democrat to agree with Merante on this one, right? And I believe that the Democrats politicize the LGBT community like they politicize a lot of things oftentimes, right? So, he's politicizing it and he's, kind of tossing accusations that can be damaging to one's reputation by implying that. Think of Mel Gibson, who blamed the Jews for all the problems in this country, right? He was labeled anti-Semite and he, fell from his place among the stars. Being anti-LGBTQ can lead to losing elections, among other things. But being quick to label someone with a scarlet phrase like anti-LGBTQ or anti-anything also takes the focus off the point that Mr. Merante was trying to make, which I think it's a good one. Should children be exposed to adult content? This also begs the question, which I've asked, are pride festivals and parades adult events with adult contents, or are they a celebration of the rights for and attained by the LGBTQ community and advocates? Right? And I'm asking, are these events organized to celebrate pride and who one is and one feels or what they feel inside and having the right to live in our society as a gay man or gay woman or trans or et cetera, anything, right? Or are these events a celebration of sexual freedom and expression, right? A festival where people with various sexual, indulgences can come to celebrate that fact, right? Like Merante, I too have asked this and mentioned the highly sexualized atmosphere in Pride events. And I'm just saying, look, I'm not saying I'm against it or they shouldn't do it. That's not okay. What I'm saying is that you have children there, right? And is that any different? I was having this discussion with my wife, like if you took a child and, around a strip club, is there a difference? Because if people are having breast out and, and their butts out, which I've seen the pictures, I've seen videos, again, I've seen the guy twerking with his breast out. I mean, I don't understand. Maybe someone, again, could help me out. Why not say, hey, listen, maybe we shouldn't have the nudity, right? Maybe we should tone that down and let's focus on the fact that we have rights now, to get married, to, be not discriminated at workplaces or discriminated just in general, right? And that we've gotten it so fast compared to other groups like Black people. I'm just saying, it's kind of amazing. I mean, they've gotten their rights quicker than anybody else, right? Because anyway, I believe that this has very little to do with politics. And I think Nicodemo as a gay man, even politicized in that way, taken away from me from his, sincerity in what he's trying to say, right? I think this has everything to do with our kids and Mr. Nicodemo. Anthony Nicodemo has a teaching background. At one point, he was not open about his sexuality. And now I'm happy to see that he's living, in his truth, and he's out and he's, he looks a lot happier. I've actually known him from my days in working in schools. He was a teacher and stuff like that. So, I was like, oh, wow, look, Nicodemo. And I was surprised, to find out. Well, not really. I guess I didn't know, right? So I just, and he's changed a lot and he looks a lot happier and it's great. And I think everybody should live in their truth, be honest, and no one should have their rights discriminated for no reason, whatever reason, right? I just feel like, anyone should just be aware of certain things, right? And if you're going to have a celebration where maybe it's going to be sexual, innuendos and content, that maybe is not a good idea to have a bouncy house with it. And you oftentimes see the, kids and stuff at these parades. So maybe tone it down. I mean, I don't think any other parade, they would be okay with people having their body parts out, right? I just don't think. So anyway, again, I'm happy to see that Mr. Nicodemo is living his truth. He's out, he's happy. But when you politicize your own plight, it looks like you are also looking to use the fact that you're a gay man to get ahead. Do you know which people can't do that? Black people and Hispanics. So you can't compare the two and make this about bigotry, or the opposition of one's civil rights. As it stands now, being Black and Hispanic is something that you are born with, whereas debate on nature versus nurture and whether you're born gay or, you're influenced by your environment is still up for debate, right? So, it's a bit different. And I just, sometimes they try to mix it too. And, you can't, nowadays, you gay, like you get a lot more props nowadays. And in the music industry, I hear this a lot, it's run by, people who belong to the LGBTQ community, so they're doing quite well. And not that saying that there isn't bigotry or hate or anti, that's always going to be the case with everybody for every reason, right? And it's especially becoming more difficult to know nowadays. And I've read research on this, whether young people who are now coming out as trans are truly feeling something internal and biological, or is it influences, they say even from pressure from society, as some research is showing, right? I have a cousin, I still have her. She was straight at one point, and then she decided she was gay, and then she started, gay flags. She dated girls, and then she went back to being straight again, and only was dating guys. I never asked about it. I just, I personally, what I chalked it up was to someone who just was feeling the need for love, right? She was feeling the need for love. And sometimes when people are in those vulnerable states and they're trying to fill a void, and someone gives them loves, and even if it's the same sex, they may, confuse that and accept that. And especially in a society where now it's okay, right? And it's, and now you're like, you better not be against it or we're going to come for you, right? You're going to get canceled in this society, right? So people are, more accepting of it, or for whether they're accepting of it or they have to be and they better be, and they know what's good for them, right? So are they, are some kids now, because it seems like it's happening younger and younger, kids are coming out as trans and, or even, dressing. I've seen kids dressing as drags. So is that really who they are? Right? Is that really who they are? Or is now their influences? They're also getting attention for it. You know, some people are making money on TV for it, you know, so we have to understand what is it truly happening here. So again, I believe Mr. Merante is right in that children and adult content often showcase in drag shows, right? And sometimes even at the pride parades, should not mix. I just don't think they should mix. I think our kids are already overly sexualized. There's a lot of, and this goes for any straight sex, gay sex, doesn't matter. It's just about the sexual content, the sexual nature, and the sexually highly sexualized environment, right? That you see there. I mean, you see it. I see the videos. I was even a bit shocked. I'm, you know, a 40-year-old man, right? So, and honestly, in my heart of hearts, I truly believe that our kids' innocence are being attacked. That's just what I believe, and I'm not just speaking about, you know, anything with LGBTQ specifically, but just in general as a whole. If we've seen what's happened in the past few years, our kids are being attacked. Their innocence. Go online, violence, sex, violence. Do a TikTok. You got to show your booty, shake it as best you can, so you can get likes, right? And it's just encouraging them, reinforcing negative behavior, likes, follows, hearts. Those things reinforce many times negative behavior. And now, with Nader Sage's support, assemblymen, they're looking to introduce, transgender sexual education in kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and third grade. Nader Sage supports this, but it's no surprise because he did support, removing the religious exemption on the vaccines, which have aborted fetal tissues. And for many who have strong religious beliefs, that is a big no-no. That goes against their religious belief. That's a huge contradiction, yet they cannot claim religious exemption thanks to Nader Sage and others. Now they're going to introduce, this sexual education to kindergarten kids. And again, for me, I think, and I've spoken to therapists, social workers, people deal with children development and stuff like that. A lot of them agree that it could be confusing. It could be very confusing. They're not at age that they're able to process and truly understand that. I don't even all the way understand it. I'll be honest. I don't. Like, I'm still, and I don't understand it. I'm trying to, why is that, like the medical and the, science behind it or whatever, right? Like I said, there's still the debate. Is it nature or nurture? Are people born gay? Or is there something that happens, a life experiences along the way? And then now it's becoming acceptable and people are making money for it. And you have some parents like the Munchausen syndrome type of thing where they may get attention for their kids, if they, put them a certain way. And that kid maybe say, this is who I am, even because this is what my mom, and parents had me be for all my life. So is it really them or is it influencing? So, I'm not against it. I just think we have to have boundaries. We still have to have boundaries, and we can't just, always say, hey, yeah, let's do everything because we gotta, this group, they've been attacked, and maybe a lot of groups have been attacked. A lot of groups are under attack. People in general being under attack, but we still have to have some kind of, I don't know. We need to bring God back into our schools, our everywhere. We need to bring God back. I'm a very spiritual person. I just think that, we've kind of lost our way in removing religion. And I don't say religion. Forget religion. I'm talking about spirituality, and our sense of, what would Jesus do, right? WWJD, as they used to say up in Tulsa, Oklahoma. WWJD, right? So that's my opinion, my comments about the Merante thing. Again, as a Democrat, Latino, who grew up differently, I'm sure I'm very much different from Merante. I do agree with him on that. Nicodemo, you're politicizing it. I don't think that's okay. And I think he's talking about the children specifically. It's not about Republicans that are anti, because again, a lot of Democrats, they just don't say it, right? But they will say it to me because, they just feel comfortable. And they say that they don't agree with it. But people want to get votes. People don't want to get canceled, right? But what do the people want? What does the majority of the people want? That's what's important at the end of the day. That's what we need to know. That's ultimately what rules. Majority rules, right? That's supposed to be that way anyway. Anyway, I wanted to just recap a little bit of what I spoke about earlier today, moving on. about the Nader Sayegh visit to his office. I don't know if you saw the video. I went to his office because that's where Hezi Media Inc. was located. I didn't find Hezi. I didn't find, Hezi Media Inc. I didn't find the Yonkers Tribune. The girl there said, he just uses that as an address. Somebody called on the phone and shut her down, said, don't talk to that guy. Because as soon as she hung up from her little 4-second phone call, she was like, nope, I can't answer that. Nope. So it was interesting. I don't know if you saw the video. I'm going to play it again. And then I want to talk about why this is important. Abogado. Now, some people have said it's unethical to have his law practice and his assemblyman office, and I think also Hezi Media Inc., a news outlet that attacks a lot of his elected or his opponents, political opponents. So he just lists the address, but that's not his office. Then the phone rings, and then I get shut down. And that was that. Somebody must have sold me the camera. I got a text from somebody that said, yo, you gangster. That was gangster. Listen, we have to hold accountability for our elected officials and these individuals that are out here spewing this nonsense, right? He's attacking the superintendent, leading people to believe things that are not true. Is rumors that he had wanted or he wants the superintendent position. Yonkers Tribune is located at his office, second floor. Is that ethical? I mean, come on. That's not okay. So I wanted to go up there and check it out and see what's what. And that's what we found there. So shout out to the individual who watches the show, who brought that to my attention. I appreciate it. They said, why is it that Hezi Media Inc., Yonkers Tribune, has the same address as Nader Sayegh? His office for his law firm, also his assemblyman office. He's got all his signs there for the assembly. And he also owns the building. I said, I don't know. Let me go and find out. And that's what I try to do. So there you go. That was my trip there. And also I mentioned the Bernice Bregman Center earlier. Also, shout out to all the seniors, Carolyn Elizabeth Marie. I was going to say Marie first. You guys fought hard. You got it open. It looks nice. But I thought it was funny how all these elected officials showed up out of nowhere. Where were you guys at? I mean, everyone showed up. You would have thought that something really was going on there. The president was in town or something. Everybody there, from senators, county legislators, council members, to department heads, to everybody and anybody, to those who want to be potentially the next mayor, like Mr. Chucky Lesnick, who was standing behind there with his glasses. He didn't say much. And I thought it was very, very, very rude. And I would have said something if I was, had a voice like that. They wouldn't have listened to me. I would have said, what are you guys doing? Going in first. They held the seniors back. I don't know why that's a big deal to me. It's a big deal to me. Like, this is their center. Why are you holding them back and letting the elected officials, who some of them, this is the first time that they even knowing anything about it, in first? It's hot out here. They were hot. And they had to wait. I mean, literally, they held them like, you ever been to a club and they got the line there, and they letting all the VIPs and, and they walking by you like, sucker, you ain't a VIP like me, I just thought that was rude, man. And they didn't even have a ribbon. They had to come up with some makeshift type of ribbon thing that they couldn't even cut. Initially, they were just going to cut the balloons and release them. No thought into it. But they all wanted to talk and take the opportunity to make it appear as if they were doing something for the seniors. But the one person that we need to give a big, huge, portion of the credit to is my homegirl, Carolyn Elizabeth Marie. Thank you. The seniors fought long and hard. May they enjoy the center and being back together. That's right. And unfortunately, some have passed away since the center was closed and then reopened. So, that's unfortunate, but, at least, they got their center back. Those that are able to reunite will be doing so. And they will have their brand new 75-inch TV, courtesy of Tasha Diaz. I don't know. Is that her TV? Because that wasn't the TV that was there the first time we did the walkthrough, right? I don't think so. So some people have suggested that maybe Tasha Diaz, after I mentioned she bought a 75-inch TV on the taxpayer dime, had it shipped over to the Bernice Breckman Center for the seniors. What about the hardwood floors? Did you leave those in? Send them over the fridge too, because they need it. And so the refrigerator they had in there is old. Please send them that as well. And by the way, do you have any of that chocolate left? The $2,000 chocolate bar we paid for? Can I get a piece? Anyway, folks, I'm Freddy Vazquez. That's it for today. I've been taking a little break, not a whole lot interesting. Anybody got something to say? Anybody? I was trying to get a guest on today. Unfortunately, I could not get that person on. I'm still looking forward to getting them on. Carolyn, I would love to have you back on because people have said that they want you to come back on. So let's do this. I know you got a lot to say. I'm waiting for you. Hopefully we could do that this week. I would greatly appreciate it because people are asking. And I said, well, I'll find out. We'll see what happens. Anyway, folks, thank you very much. I appreciate you watching Basement Politics. Shout you out. And again, I'm not anti-LGBTQ. I'm not at all. I would tell a story, but I don't want to put anyone out there. It's a story that it makes me look good. But I just wanted to tell it because it makes me look good. But I don't want to make anybody put their business out there. So I'm not going to do that for the sake of making me look good. The point is, I'm not anti anyone. I love everyone. Everyone has a right to do what the hell they want. Just don't bother me. Okay? Just don't bother me and my permits. And you can do whatever the hell you want. I'm Freddy Vazquez. Thank you for joining me. Have a great night. Thank you. Thank you, Yonkers. Thank you very much. And tomorrow, we'll see. Tomorrow, we got some meetings going on at the city council. See what they talk about. Hopefully be something interesting. I'll be back on and we'll discuss. And if not, I'll see you Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your night, folks.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez.